At this time, I'd like to bring the Crewe Town Council to order, the regular monthly meeting. If you will join with me in a moment of silence. 2017 is also the 100th anniversary of the U.S. entry into the First World War. The town of Crewe lost several individuals in that conflict. I would ask you to remember them and all Gold Star families. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First on the agenda is a public hearing and the proposed change in water rates. The call is its town council. The town of Crewe will hold a public hearing on Monday, November 13th, 2017, at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter. It may be held at the Crewe Library and Conference Center. The town council will take public comment regarding proposed changes in the business water rates for the town of Crewe. This is business water rates only. The proposed changes are as follows. The current rate is $15 a minimum charge with up to 3,000 gallons and $5 per thousand over. The proposed change would reduce that to $5 minimum charge, up to 3,000 gallons, $5 minimum charge. Current rates for water business that is out of town, $15 minimum charge, up to 3,000 gallons, $5 per thousand gallons. The proposed change would keep it at $15 minimum charge, but would up the 3,000 gallon rate or over 3,000 gallons at $5.58 per thousand over, so that's a 58 cents increase. Interested persons may appear in the aforementioned time and place to present their views. It is the town of Crewe's intention to comply with ADA, and we have had no contact for that. Any people with additional inquiries should call the town hall. Wade Walker, town manager. At this time, I open the floor up for anyone that may have any comments on the water rate changes that are proposed. Anyone wishing to comment? All right. Seeing no one in the audience wishing to comment at this time, any member of council will make any comment? Very well. Without objection, then I will call a closure of this public hearing. I need a motion to that effect.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, Mr. Knight made the motion. Second. Mr. Abel made the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. At this time, we get on to the delegations from the public and citizens' comments portion. Is there any member of the citizens that wish to make a comment to the town council? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I was just
What's
here.
your name, please?
Anna Williams.
Anna
Williams.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I was just here because I wanted to inquire about what the decision was on the chickens.
No decision was made. It was tabled at the last.
Oh, I was told it would be decided that we would know tonight, but I guess not.
Well, at the last council meeting, it was tabled. It was tabled, yeah. So, which basically means it wasn't.
It hasn't been resolved.
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I would just like it to be said,
Your name for the rest of these folks.
excuse me?
Please state your name for the rest of these
Oh,
folks.
Judith Long.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say that the people on my street, many of us feel that the chicken ordinance is not a good idea at all. Maybe in some parts of town it's less objectionable, but I feel that on our street it would be totally not appropriate. And I do believe there's a chance that we would get chickens. As a matter of fact, I've been told we would if it's approved. So I just want you to know that I don't think that the chickens would go over well in our neighborhood at all. If you let one person do it, and that person might be a responsible homeowner, you have to let everybody do it. And that means some people might not be as responsible. So I'm just speaking for some of my neighbors that are saying, please, no chickens in town.
All right, you're representing your neighbors, several neighbors?
Excuse me?
You're representing several neighbors?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes. It's at least 2 others, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I just had to make a comment about the chicken situation.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I counted on my side of town today that there are at least 34 vehicles that don't have license plates on them and/or they're not where you can drive them. And I've lived here for 19 years when I moved back here from Richmond.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just think with some of the situations that you do see, you know, a couple of people having chickens that are responsible, I mean, it just, to me, I just don't understand it.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you can have all these vehicles that are broken down, they're not behind gates, they're not in a garage,
What part of town are you talking about?
the east side of town.
Just
I
what
counted
vehicles?
34.
34.
34.
What street?
They're on 2nd Street, they're on Virginia Avenue, they're on, I mean, almost every street that I went down I could see. But, you know, an empty vehicle that doesn't have tags, is completely broken down. And, you know, that's to me a much bigger issue than a couple of people having chickens.
Okay.
Because that creates, you know, that automatically makes your property value go down. I mean, if the city of Richmond can have chickens, and, you know, I don't understand it.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense to me.
But you counted 34 vehicles that are
34.
basically abandoned
Yes,
or,
they do not have license plates on them, and/or they're broken down. They're, behind my house alone, there are 2 vehicles that are broken down.
okay, we'll get somebody on that.
Where do you live at?
I live on Maryland.
We'll get somebody on that. That's obviously a violation. We've got,
Well, we've been working on that.
yeah, I know. But if she's got counted 34, we got an issue. All right. Any other? Yes, ma'am.
In response, I agree that that is a big problem, and my grandchildren live in the country and have chickens, and they've had goats and everything else, and I approve of them. But just like she knows that there are irresponsible people with the cars, there are also irresponsible people with chickens.
Yes.
And that, I'm with you. I'm concerned about my property value. And the others on my street are considering that as well. I think we both are on the same wavelength when it comes to property owners being responsible. And if you let one, you've got to let the others. And that's the issue here.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Just one more point and I'm done. If you have certain ordinances laid in, you know, for owning chickens, you know, how far they're supposed to be away from a fence, or if they're in a closed-in fence, or if you're having to pay $100 per chicken. If people are willing to abide by those ordinances, then they're also, you know, then they're gonna not create a problem. So it would be according, almost, you know, like anything, it's really what you put into it.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Yes, ma'am.
And I would like to say, I agree with you. And I'm sure if you had chickens, you would abide by that. But all citizens are not like that. And if there's citizens that don't abide by other ordinances, and the town has to be involved a lot, and you don't know the situation, other people may not abide by the ordinance. As a matter of fact, I could almost guarantee you they wouldn't. And like I said, if they let good people like you have them, they've got to let people who are not responsible have them. And then it's hard to get away from that. And I don't think it's gonna be a couple. We've already had chickens in town. Did y'all know that?
Oh, yeah.
And, yes, okay.
Oh, yeah.
We've had some, so they had them even when it hadn't been in the ordinance. And I think a lot of similar people are going to have chickens. And I think you're gonna have a lot more chickens than you think in the town. Because there are people that want these chickens. And I'm aware of your situation. But all citizens are not the same.
All right, I thank you both for your inputs on this, and the council will take them under consideration as they continue to deliberate on this issue.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? Very good. With that in mind, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Matters on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be approved by one motion. Any item can be removed from the calendar at the request of a member of council and may be voted on separately. These include the minutes of the town council meeting held on 10 October 2017, the bill sheet, and the additions. The additions are in front of you. Are there any questions?
I want to make one comment.
Yes, sir.
About the bill sheet. If you noticed how high the bills are this month, we had major problems with one of the garbage trucks, and we had problems with pumping stations. So that's the reason why I traded it up pretty high this month. Great.
All right. With that in mind, I'll entertain a motion for the consent calendar.
Motion to approve.
All right. Mr. Knight makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Reed makes a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Motion carries. And now we'll go to the town manager's report.
Just a few items, update everyone. In dealing with the obstructions at the airport, this has been an ongoing situation. I think I let everybody know that the town had a survey done to try to further identify trees that are in the obstruction area. That was done by Timberlake and Company, and we've now identified 45 trees that need to be either topped or removed in order to comply with the federal regulations, which would allow night landings and takeoffs from our runway 15. We discussed changing runway 15 to a day operation only. That would still require 20 trees to be removed. So while this sounds like an insurmountable number, we're currently negotiating with the owners of these trees to have them removed and pay them a reasonable price per tree. That's part of the problem, is coming up with a reasonable price. We're offering a range of $350 to $250 per tree, depending on the size. Actually, this may happen, and I never thought we'd be able to get 45 trees taken down. But one of the landowners has indicated they're willing to allow us to remove the trees. Again, we're negotiating the price. Another one of the landowners is okay with us taking down 5 of his trees at $300 a piece. I think we can get this done, and the town forces are going to be able to take the trees down, so we're not going to have to pay anybody to do that. And I've asked the state reimburses, for the public to know, state reimburses us for the cost of paying for these trees, up to 80%. I sent an email today. I asked the state if they would consider our taking the trees down as our 25% is 20% in kind. So I don't know if they're going to accept that or not, but I also want to get approval from them that these numbers are okay before we start taking these trees down. So we may have to operate under an extended license for a little while, but I think our license runs out next week. But I think they're willing to do that as long as we're making some headway. Just for other members of council that couldn't attend, we had a meeting last Thursday. The mayor, Vice Mayor Stinson, Robbie, Billy Abel, and Aaron. We met with our health insurance agent, Sam Irby, who's with Innovative Insurance Group. Continued increases in the town's health care costs for our employees was the subject. And it's become a pretty serious situation, and we're attempting to help our employees maintain the coverage we have, and we've enjoyed in the past while finding ways to control the rising costs. It may be necessary to drastically alter our current benefits in order to continue to provide the coverage we have. As most of you know, healthcare costs have skyrocketed since the inception of the Affordable Health Care Act, and right now, doesn't appear to be any end in sight. This is a really, really large part of our budget, and we're trying to find a happy medium somewhere in there where we can take care of our employees and the town can afford it. So there'll be more to come on that. I just want to update everybody on some of our problem buildings. I'm tired of calling them derelict, we'll call them problem. We're waiting on 2 estimates on the old theater building. As y'all know, we had an asbestos study done. We've had to submit that to 2 different companies, and we're asking them for a turnkey price on both removing the asbestos and taking the property down, cleaning it up. We're waiting on that. We should get that before the end of the week. The Heaven Bound Church, as most of you know, on the corner was condemned. That, we were told by a contractor that work should begin on that within the next 2 weeks. The money's been secured and the work should begin within the next 2 weeks. So that's a good thing. West Virginia Avenue buildings, the ones out on the highway, they're currently being repaired. And a new roof will be put on that, and it'll be secured so that we'll be back in compliance, hopefully pretty soon. And that's all I have.
Are there any questions from council for the
Sure,
town manager?
just a couple. You said that was a committee meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was a joint committee.
Okay, yeah.
Personnel.
That's fine. Okay, and the trees, you mentioned 2 options, 20 trees or 45 trees. Which one are,
I think we're gonna try to go ahead and get the 45.
okay, great.
And to keep our nighttime operation license.
Okay, and, well, I guess it sounds like we're progressing pretty well on that, so.
So see, that's vital for us getting the runway fixed too.
Oh, absolutely, right, and,
Well, we're gonna see what to be quite honest with you, I didn't know there were any obstructions involved with daytime use. But once we said that we might wanna do that, then they notified us that we did have a dozen or so. So the numbers were high enough in my mind to say, let's go ahead and pursue all of them.
perfect,
And get it over with, so.
sounds good, great.
Would it, we obviously, if the town employees go and cut the trees down, we're paying them. Would it not be cheaper to get a small timber crew in there to cut them down?
You know.
It wouldn't?
Would we be reimbursed for our costs?
We could,
Yeah, 80%.
yeah, we could ask them, and that's what kind of what I'm hoping they'll let us allow that to be the in-kind, and they'll pay full price.
Okay, I see. Very good.
Shooting for.
Are there any other questions for the town manager? If not, we'll go to the town attorney.
Nothing new to report, just keeping on with the same projects that have been.
Good deal. The mayor's report. We had a complaint from a citizen whose family's tombstone was used for Halloween props. And there were young people that were laying on the tombstone, and it ended up on Facebook and created great emotional distress. We do not have an ordinance in place to keep people from laying on tombstones. And what I'm proposing is that we at least consider it created great emotional distress for a town citizen. And we have an obligation to see that the graves are not desecrated or misused in any way, as you're well aware. And that's what we're gonna do, I think. We need an ordinance that basically says you cannot lay about on people's graves and tombstones. We don't have that. We have it for destruction, we have it for vandalism, but we don't have it for abuse, other abuse. And what I would suggest is that we give it to Tessie and see if there's something out there that we can, that would be appropriate.
Did you see that, Tessie, what he had written in?
Yes, I saw that, so,
You don't have to use it, just, I mean, the idea is to not, to create a situation where it won't happen again, or if it does, we can slap a fine on them.
sure, I'll take a look at
Okay.
it.
Christmas is coming up, and I'm having the mayor's nativity scene contest again, so if you put the word out, the best nativity scene in the town of Crewe will get $100, $50 for second place, and $50 for a third of second place. I'm on the second place. And I'll get a news release out for that, but the idea is that the people that will do the nativity scenes, they will remind people why we have Christmas in the first place. All right, that's all I've got. Committee reports, infrastructure, Mr. Sisk is not here, Mr. Knight,
They have no report.
Mr. Biscovic, anything with that, infrastructure? Nothing?
No, nothing.
Mr. Foss? Nothing. All right. Finance committee, Mr. Knight,
No report.
personnel committee, Ms. Stenson?
Well, I had happy things. We congratulate the Sisk family on the arrival of a new baby.
Yes.
And Officer Lafferty got married today.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
So, they taking pictures out? Is that who that was?
Yeah, when I drove by, they were coming out, they had the reception at the community center, and they came out, and they were taking pictures. She looked lovely. I couldn't see him real good, he had a big old cowboy hat.
He was wearing a cowboy hat. I saw- They were taking pictures across from the golf course.
Oh, okay.
That place, too.
I saw him in town, this morning, and he didn't say nothing about it.
Well,
Well,
I guess you weren't invited, I don't know.
I wasn't invited there.
It's everybody's
I wasn't,
party.
either. They got married at 3:00.
That's good.
Anything else?
That's all.
All right, Mr. Foss, volunteer services. You want to tell us about the chamber meeting that I had to miss because I was out of town?
He never missed it.
You didn't know
Oh,
you
that's
wasn't there?
food was great.
You
Yeah.
feeling better?
Right?
Yes.
Good.
Well, that's good.
You must have been sick.
What's that?
You must have been sick not to attend.
I was.
I figured you were.
I didn't even know where I was at.
Oh, it's bad.
Well, a good time was had
We had a
by
good
all.
time.
I didn't either after I left the chamber. I'm just kidding.
Did you walk home?
No, I was good.
Economic development, Mr. Miskovich.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. I believe that the grant that we applied for was submitted,
Okay, good.
so we're looking forward to that. Good development that we came across when we were submitting that grant. As you'll recall, 80% would have been matched by the grant, and we would have had to get the other 20%, which would have made a lot of, which could have been potentially problematic. But it turns out that at the time that the building was donated to us, and we can use the building as in kind, at the time it was donated to us, it was valued at over $200,000. So $200,000 for our share, our 20% share is a lot in potential grant money. So we're looking forward to that and hoping that that progresses through.
So the timeline on that, when we should know something?
I don't think so. They didn't say.
My guess would be after the holidays.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, it's gonna be
usually-
soon,
Right.
I mean, for the first year.
Right,
Okay.
After the first.
after the first, right. Is what I would plan on. Just bouncing off the chamber event was a good event. JVP printing won Business of the Year.
That's Dan, congratulations.
2 new awards this year. Well, the first Emerging Business of the Year, which is an older award, was El Mariachi.
Okay, cool.
2 new awards. One was Nonprofit of the Year, and that was given to Kingdom Community Church. And Young Leader of the Year, Andrea Bland, who's a volunteer and works at Dollar General, received that award. And Lifetime Achievement Award went to Vice Mayor Stinson and her husband.
I'm done.
Lifetime's over.
Yeah, I don't have to do anymore.
And in another 40 years, we'll give her a second one.
Where'd you see Andrea Bland work?
Dollar General.
Dollar General. And what'd she win?
Young Leader of the Year, which is one of our new awards. And I'm sure I'm forgetting someone.
Church.
The church, right, they're Nonprofit of the Year.
Kingdom Community, is that what you said?
That's correct. Oh, Volunteers of the Year,
Yeah, they were
the Eddies.
We recognize Lopez, Griffin, for the work they did.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you send me a list of all those?
Sure. Absolutely. Perfect. And other than that, I just want to, he's not here, but thank my co-chairman for working to increase the tax base the old-fashioned way. One kid at a time.
Good deal. While you're talking, let me interject. The Virginia Association for Parks had their annual meeting up at Douthit State Park. And they had good words to say about Phil Muscovich's work on the Virginia Municipal League, getting on their legislative agenda, on the Virginia Municipal League agenda. And your name was bandied about, so in a positive way.
Well, that's a change. Thank you.
No, I thank you. All right. Continuing business. Do we have any continuing business that we need to bring up?
Just one piece of continuing business for me. I mentioned at the last meeting that I'd like to, that I've invited DHCD to come down and discuss with us the process for, they had to delay a little bit because they were facing a deadline, but they did send a couple dates. How does December 1st, that's a Friday, work for everyone, sometime between 11 and 1?
That's perfect.
Perfect,
Yeah.
okay,
I wish I could say that.
okay.
We're at Town Hall or here?
Let's do it here, and we'll even advertise it as, or just put up on the bulletin board that it's a special meeting,
Okay.
just so we're crossing our Ts and dotting our Is. That's it for,
So it's the same people we met with before,
I'm
down at the high school.
No, down at the high school, that was a FOIA council.
Ford, okay.
Right, this is DHCD.
What time did you say, Phil?
They're available to come anytime between 11 and 1. What time works best for everyone?
I'd say 11.
11? Okay, perfect. I will let them know.
Do 11.
I can't tell right now, I'll have to check.
Okay.
What is DHCD? Is that the?
Department of Housing and Community Development. They oversee the
The HEAL?
statewide building code.
Oh, okay.
Any other continuing business? Very good, we move on to new business. Any new business?
Couple pieces of new business if no one else. I'm sorry.
Oh, please, Bill.
As you know, we are, we have submitted to the General Assembly, and Delegate Wright has put in a bill to change our charter, make the adjustments. I went through the charter and found a few other areas that may need changing.
Okay.
It's a little, well,
You got any rain?
I do. Because we're so late and we need to advertise for a public hearing and all that and have the public hearing, I would suggest that we take a straw poll and let Delegate Wright know, just so we can potentially adjust, or just make it known that these changes are. But anyway, the changes, couple of them, there's 4, and 3 of the 4 come basically from editor's notes in the, from when we sent it to Municode. So we send it to Municode, they look through it, write editor's notes based on what is not currently legal.
Oh.
So a few things, and the General Assembly will probably also look at this, but just to let them know as well. Under section 3.7, it says special meetings may be called at any time by the mayor or by any 3 members of council. The Code of Virginia requires, or now says, was amended to state special meetings shall be held by the mayor or requested by 2 or more members of council.
Okay,
So,
basically go from 3 to 2.
right,
Okay.
that's correct. Number 2, section 3.9, in the case of the absence from any meeting of the, currently it's, it says, in the absence or inability to act of both the mayor and the vice mayor, any member of town council may act with all the powers of the mayor upon the request to do so by the town manager, but only during a period of such dual absence and inability. The editor's note says, in case of the absence from meeting of the chairman and vice chairman, mayor or vice mayor, the members present shall choose one of their number as temporary presiding officer. So basically, rather than the town manager going and asking any member of council, the council would have to choose.
Sure. But that's state law, right?
No,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Okay, so we'll just make it state law.
The third one, strike all of chapter 6, which is municipal courts.
Yes.
And then finally, the other one, and the reason I started going through this, section 5.1 under appointments, I would suggest striking town sergeant. That one's not state law, but that one, because a sergeant is within the police department, it creates that same bifurcated chain of command if we're appointing. So I'll entertain thoughts or questions on any of those.
The town sergeant in the old days was the chief of police, basically.
I believe we've appointed both chief
I'm-
of police and.
It's talking like in the thirties,
Oh,
yeah,
it's,
way back.
that's very
I
possible.
think it's a hold up.
Before my time, we could ask Councilman Nables.
Memory's not that good, but it happened.
There was a period in the sixties, and I remember this, I'm sure you remember it, but the senior ranking guy was a sergeant. And then some police chief somewhere put on lieutenant's bars. So some police chief somewhere else put on captain's bars, and everybody went around and got captain's bars. And now they're all walking around with colonel's eagles, except for him, because he's a police chief. Yeah, but you look at them, a lot of them are wearing military rank insignia, and I think that's how you got that ranking. But the town sergeant in the old days was the police chief, so I don't have a beef with any of them, frankly, but,
Well, it's just a suggestion, since we're already,
yeah.
if there's any objection, then I'll
Do
just
we
drop
have a
it.
town sergeant now?
We do, yeah, actually we do, Sergeant Height's town sergeant,
He's the town sergeant?
yeah. I don't have, my personal feeling is that I don't have a problem going with the first three, because let's just make them consistent
Right.
with state law. On number 4, I would suggest the town manager engage the chief of police and get some feedback. And
Okay.
and see what the chief of police would like for us to do,
Sure.
and find out. Does that sound good? Fair?
Assuming that the chief of police wants to pursue that route, should we go ahead and advertise for public hearing for December? Contingent upon the,
I don't have a problem personally with that.
you know, we can just add it to the agenda, next Friday, and vote on the, advertising for public hearing. If-
Well, because we gotta get in a delegate rate. That's the only thing.
Right.
Well, we can pass over it too. Now, the thing is that if you do away with the town sergeant, your appointment of the town sergeant, it basically leaves the chief available to appoint a town sergeant, from his perspective.
So you're trying to get it in time-wise.
That's correct.
Right, right, yeah.
That's correct.
What if we miss that time, when we would do it again?
Any general assembly session.
Yeah.
So it's not critical, right?
Right, absolutely. I was just, since we're doing it,
Yeah, I agree.
and I should have brought up
So,
the
I guess-
months ago,
We're all busy.
but if the town manager can speak with the police chief before next Friday and we have a quorum, we can.
All right, with that in mind, I guess we need a motion to advertise a public hearing.
Well, we
Or
can,
do you want to wait?
as I, we'll wait and see what the police chief has to say, and then during our special meeting next Friday.
Okay.
Not next Friday, 2 Fridays from
Right,
now.
right, okay,
And-
that's fine.
Well, do you think we can make the motion and all on contingency, what the chief of police says?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so contingent upon the chief of police's inputs
Yeah.
for item number 4, we will go ahead and advertise for a public hearing for these 4 items. You will send these in writing to the town manager, myself, and other members of council,
Perfect.
so they've got them. And then we'll go ahead and, pardon me?
Give them back.
Right, get them in fact. So I need a motion to that effect.
I move to advertise for public hearing contingent upon positive response from the
Okay,
chief of police.
do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by like sign. All right, motion carries. deal. All right, any other new business?
Just last piece of new business, Mayor. It is November and Black Friday is coming up. I would like to throw out the idea that we do a little Black Friday shopping for technology needed for the town. We currently have no projector or projector screen, and it's basically one of us bringing technology in when we have it. I was paging through the Walmart Black Friday ad. There's a 55-inch smart TV that can sync wirelessly for $300 on sale on Black Friday.
If you can get it.
No,
They might not have but 5 or 6 in each store.
well, you say that, but several of us were able to get them last year, several hours into the sale. So I don't know if people just didn't know about them or just weren't interested in them in Black Friday. So contingent, of course, being able to do that. I also think that we should have a laptop for use in here, which range from a couple hundred up to $300 or $500. So
Laptop or tablet? Laptop.
I'd say a laptop, just to be able to. And those are the two items I think we should have for the town, but I'll entertain suggestions, ideas, thoughts, concerns. I'd be willing to do the shopping myself.
So the projection screen and the TV are the same thing? What are you talking about?
No, just the TV, rather in lieu of a projector and projection
Oh.
screen. I'm sorry. Right, so currently we use,
You can use the one at the police department, all that matters was TV.
I'm sorry?
You can use the one at the police department, as far as that.
Well, yeah, but you
Put it in here.
could, I think what
Right.
he's talking about is you stick it in here, and if we have things that we need to do
Oh,
in here,
okay.
and it actually would be, it would actually complement some of the programs the Crewe Library's got going on also, because they have speakers in here all the time. And,
No, but 50, you think 55 inches is gonna be big enough?
The 55-inch TV, yes.
Think so?
Yes.
I don't know, I get it, I still can't see it.
Okay.
Just kidding, yeah,
Well,
just
maybe
kidding.
it's called old age. There would be multiple use, I mean, we wouldn't be the only ones that would use it. All right, at this time, I guess, do we have the money, I guess, first, that's the next question. Okay.
We can take it from,
Okay. All right, good enough. Therefore, we've got a motion to purchase a big screen TV, 55-inch at Black Friday sale prices, and a laptop, likewise, Black Friday sale prices.
right, and a mounting, something there for the
Mounting
TV.
mechanism.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but all I've been hearing is on Cyber Mondays, where the electronics is gonna be the best deal.
Well, the bottom line, let's rephrase this then. What we have is a motion, it doesn't have to be Black Friday, but to buy a 55-inch big screen, a laptop, and the mounting mechanisms
Right, that's,
coming out of economic development money.
that's correct.
All right, very good. And then, so I need a motion. You made the motion, Ms. Stinson made the, actually, that was the last one. Need a motion.
Well, I'll second this one.
All right, so,
Who made the first?
Miskovic, Mr. Miskovic, rather. And then Ms. Stinson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Motion carries. Very good. Anything else, sir?
That's it for me.
Very good.
Good luck, shop.
Thank you.
At this time, we move into points of personal privilege. Mr. Reed, anything?
No, sir.
You're not gonna talk about deer season coming up?
It's
Gun
here.
gun season?
It's here.
Yeah, gun season is when, Saturday?
Yep. Yep.
Who's coming?
So be orange hats everywhere, so
Just-
watch where you drive.
Ms. Stetson?
No personal proof.
Mr. Abel?
Do have one thing,
Yes, sir.
the alley where the paint shop is, runs from Carter Street to Tyler Street. I ride down that alley and have to call somebody because they're blocking the alley. In about a day, you couldn't even get in for a truck down there.
Which paint shop you talking?
And I guess,
Charles was on building. Charles basically had no cleaners.
you know, I
Like
think
the
they
alley
need,
fence.
need to do something to keep that alley
I mean,
open.
you're talking about the one behind Miss Carrington's place?
Yes.
Okay, all right, right.
Because not only does it during the daytime, when they're doing something late in the evening, she's having something.
I know, I've been by there a couple of times telling people working there that they've gotta keep the cars out of the alley.
I've said something in my truck, I've
Yeah.
said something in the Burkeville police car, and I think the only thing that would make them do it, just keep writing tickets.
All right.
They pay enough in fines, they'll quit parking.
All we'll do is ask the town manager to engage the chief of police and address the
I
situation.
think it's
We'll do-
time for something to be done with it.
All right, got it. Thank you.
Just under the mayor's report for the ordinance, one thing that I would caution is the word trespass. I understand the intent.
Yes.
I would also mention that the Code of Virginia does allow for individuals doing historical research to go into any cemetery.
Oh, I agree, but
Right.
we're talking about abuse of grade.
Oh, absolutely.
That's-
Right, right.
That's what we figured
Right.
to test it, there's just not the right word
Perfect.
for it, yeah.
Other than that, I look forward to seeing everyone at the park lighting on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. That's-
That may be changed.
Okay,
Got an email today from
I wanna go about that myself.
Tammy.
okay.
You just have to do.
People that normally help her
Trespass into the
are out of town,
And
and
that-
she wants to know if it's gonna be too much of an issue for it to be on December 2nd. Otherwise, she doesn't know how it's gonna be finished.
December second is a Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
We lost 2 weekends already because of weather and
Can we, what if we try to align it with the parade
Well,
that following
That's
week,
on the seventh.
on the seventh? So we do the parade and then everyone converges on the park for the park lighting,
that sounds like a plan.
rather than,
You may have more people there,
exactly.
and with all the kids and the hot chocolate, I think that's a more positive way to go.
Okay.
outstanding.
Well, you know, what I saw years ago, didn't they light the park right before the parade?
That's before my time.
Well, I was gonna say the parade was kinda late, so you wouldn't wanna light it during the parade. You probably wouldn't wanna light it after, would you? So
Because
wouldn't you-
people are too busy going home and all, yeah.
Wouldn't you wanna do it before, probably?
Okay,
Probably the second.
well, it gets dark at 5, right?
Well, I ain't gonna come.
Yeah,
The
5:30.
parade starts at,
5:30.
Yeah, so if you lit
I think that'd be better.
Light it right before the parade, that'd be good.
right, so if Tammy can get with the homecoming committee, and
Okay.
that may be an a great option for
extra
everyone.
time too.
Yeah.
Other than that, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to all y'all. All right, town manager, you have anything else?
No, sir.
All right, then we move back into public comments. Do we have any public comments? Fire away.
When I got the grade thing,
Yes, ma'am.
seems to me that, well, Ray's been after me for a long time, probably a year and a half, to bring to town council that you guys review, that the town review how the rules and whatnot for the graveyard anyways, you know, what, when flowers should be disposed of, because there's so many dead flowers left over there for too long, you know, get some,
Now,
you
tell
know,
me-
we have benches over there that are broken down and near falling down, and it would really help clean the graveyard up. So I'm just suggesting that if you're gonna look at people defacing the graves, or, I don't know, whatever, laying
Well, it
on them or
was-
whatever, maybe you do go, kind of deal with the graveyard all as one thing. Secondly, I don't,
Let me answer
yes, sir?
the point, though. We actually have that, and the town manager just ran a warning, of public notice of the rules and regulations about 2 weeks ago. So it's been publicly disseminated.
Okay, I didn't realize that. And then secondly, I don't know if Ray brought you the letter, did he bring
He
you a
did.
letter?
He
Okay,
did.
that he wants to donate the Jesus to you guys?
Yes,
to-
I gave it to the town manager to figure out what we gotta do.
I think his intent was to want to, and I might get shot when I get home, and I tell him I said this, but I believe this is what he said. The statue needs to be maintained, it has to be painted and whatnot, and I think it's in need of paint right now. I don't think he has a problem painting it for you guys one more time, if you guys want
You know,
Jesus,
we'll
you know,
take care of it.
you'll take care of it, okay. Because Jesus, like, he does need painting every now and then.
We're actually looking into some different type of paint, like stable or asphalt.
Right, okay, so but he did get the letter of.
Yes, ma'am, my intent is to write a letter of thanks. And I
Don't
just-
worry about it, he is just happy that you're taking Jesus.
Well, he's a great guy.
He
I
is.
spent a lot of time with his brother the other day, on Veterans Day at WSBF.
Oh, yeah, Cecil's a trip,
It was a very patriotic family.
very patriotic, yeah.
All right, good. Any other comments from the public? No other comments from the public? There's no need for an executive session I'm aware of. Very well. Then we will make a motion to adjourn. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. This
So moved.
Mr. Knight, Mr. Abel, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the like sign. I'll see you, you're adjourned.